Welcome. My name is Severin Garrett, and we are so glad that you joined us live tonight or that you're listening to the recording. This is our team call. Our team is called Health for Life, and we are super excited about our guest speaker tonight. I'm going to introduce Whitney Lloyd, who's going to introduce our speaker.
Hey everyone, I'm so glad y'all could be on, and I am so honored to be able to have one of my friends share with us tonight, and I'm sure many of you guys know who she is and love her just like I do. Dana Popham is with us tonight, and she is an NMD with Juice Plus. She has been doing Juice Plus now for, I think she said 12 years, but I'm sure she'll share more about that. She's been married to her high school sweetheart for 24 years, and she has 4 children. One's in college. No, she said 2 of them are now in college. One's in high school, one's in middle school. And I actually know Dana. I think of her children as still very young because I knew her when they were all toddlers. And her husband was a student pastor at the church that my dad was pastoring when I was in college. But now Dana has such a heart for women, and she has a blog where she just loves encouraging others with all stages of life as well as their health. So Dana, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight, and we're so excited to hear from you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Whitney. I just love the full circle that this has all come around with you and I especially, and just to see so many familiar faces on this call is such a treat. Thank you so much for having me. And for those of you that might be watching the recording, I'm not glowing. I'm in a car. We're traveling unexpected today. And, just like we say in this business that we can do it anywhere, it's so true. I had like a half of a second panic, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And I'm like, wait a minute. I have my phone. I can totally do this anywhere. So thank y'all so much for having me. What a treat. So I'm going to share my story with you tonight. And then I'm going to share at the very end, just some business building tools that are really working for our team. And that gets me really excited to be able to share those with you. So I want to start just with my personal story. So just like Whitney said, I have 4 kids. My 2 girls are in college, and my oldest, who's about to be 21, I cannot believe it. It was really her that started our whole health journey. So when she was 3 years old, she developed a seizure disorder completely out of nowhere. And for all of you that are moms, and you've got littles, like it was just so it was just a very hard thing to go through. I'll never forget how paralyzed I felt as a mom, just not knowing how to help her, just having to give her medication, just wanting to do something that could impact her to help her heal or whatever. And I'll never forget sitting in the neurologist office one day, and he gave me a piece of paper that was so powerful. Like, it just had things that I could do that could help avoid seizures. And some of it were just no-brainer things like, getting enough sleep, watching the amount of caffeine. But then there were some things that had to do with nutrition. And it was things like avoiding aspartame, any kind of artificial sweeteners. I remember BHT was a preservative that they said to avoid in her diet. And so what he didn't realize is that he gave this mama just some ammunition to say, okay, I may not can heal her with this, but I know that I can help her. And it gave me some feelings of that I can control this. So I became a label reader. That was almost, oh my gosh, 19 years ago. And I knew nothing about Juice Plus, had never heard about Juice Plus, but I began to learn about whole food nutrition and how important it was for our bodies and how food could heal our bodies. And so if you fast forward to, I guess it was almost I always get my dates, maybe almost 13 years ago, we learned about Juice Plus, and it was from Amy Getz. You guys heard from her maybe a few weeks ago. She's amazing. Her husband was on staff at our church, and I saw a Juice Plus sticker on her car. And to this day, I have a Juice Plus sticker back there because that's how I learned about Juice Plus. And, you know, I had been on this journey of health, and I had learned so much about nutrition that the words Juice Plus just sounded healthy to me. And that literally is what started my conversation with Amy Getz. I was like, I need to know about this stuff. What is it? I trusted her and Scott. And so there's something about that story. I trusted them. So there's something about that relationship that I'm going to focus on towards the end of this call. And so we immediately got on Juice Plus. We saw huge changes in our immune systems. My kids, at that point, they were 8, 7, 3, and 1. And so my older girls had not had Juice Plus. Their diets were very poor, and they were just sick all the time. And so we just saw immediate changes in that, and just fell in love with it. I was sharing with people like crazy. I got my mom on Juice Plus, my dad on Juice Plus, my entire family. There's 19 of us total. But I did not want to have anything to do with the business. I was pastor's wife, homeschooling mom, already kind of felt a little odd, awkward. I didn't want to wear the hat of like network marketer either. And so every time Amy would mention it, I would send someone to my mom. Every time Amy would mention it, I'd be like, no, this is just not for me. I love it. I'll tell people about it. And so I literally sent like 15 families to my mom. It was crazy. So, so as we are going about this journey and just having amazing health, I was actually going through some depression and didn't even know it. And so couple that with, my husband coming to me after being on Juice Plus for a year and us seeing so many benefits in our health, and him saying, we're going to have to find a way to cover the cost of this Juice Plus. It's expensive. It's in our budget. He was seeing it more as an expense than an investment. And he was saying that, we were probably going to have to cancel it. And I'm like, we can't cancel it. And he said, well, honey, you're going to have to get a job. You're going to either have to find a way to pay for it. And at the time, we were really struggling financially. We were a one-income family, and all of 6 of us being on Juice Plus was a huge investment every single month. And so his suggestion to me was that I start an in-home childcare to help offset some costs. And if you have ever gone through bouts of depression or just bad days, whatever, I felt like I was barely hanging on. And when he suggested that I started an in-home childcare, I literally thought it felt like he just pushed my head under the water. It was insane. And that actually led me to call Amy Getz and say, look, I don't really want to do this, but I don't want to keep kids in my house. So I was kind of motivated by that pain. And I was like, I need to become a rep. I've got to help cover the cost of our family's Juice Plus. And I need to make some extra money. I'm going to pause there because a lot of times I've, depending on my audience, I don't always share this piece, but about 3 months before this was totally the Lord. So about 3 months before this, I had gone to a conference. I'm doing a big conference plug right now because this is so important. So I was invited by my mom, who became a rep. She was very smart. I was invited by her to go to a conference in California, and I only went because I wanted to go to California. I remember getting off the plane and seeing all these women, and they would have like fruit and veggie bags, and I had the I'm too cool syndrome, and I'm like, these people are weird. I just don't know if I can. They're carrying bags with fruit and vegetables on them. I remember having those thoughts. And, oh my goodness, what secretly though was happening inside of me is while I was at this conference, I would hear things and I would be like, oh, that's cool, whatever. And then I heard the national marketing director speeches. And I'm like, oh, they're like real. Like these people aren't like all about all this hoopla. Like they're just real people and they have real stories and they kind of seem a lot like me. And they did this thing. Like this is crazy. So it kind of just piqued my interest. It planted a seed. And so that was so important, y'all. And do you know that I have never missed a conference in 12 years, and I went to my first one as a customer. So I cannot tell you all how important conference is. Okay, that was my plug on conference. All right, so I'm calling Amy Getz. I'm like, yes, I need to be a rep. And you guys, I fell in love with this community. What I didn't realize is this stay-at-home homeschooling mama who did not go to college, worked to put her husband through school, whose identity was completely wrapped into being his wife, pastor's wife, homeschooling mama. Like I had no idea who I was, what I liked to do, what I was gifted at. And y'all, this business was the vehicle that God used to bring out the best in me and to bring out the things that he created me to be and do. I didn't know that in the beginning. It was a painful journey of personal growth. But oh my goodness, I cannot stress enough just what a gift this business has been to me personally. So I started off, got really excited, shared Juice Plus with everybody else, everybody I hadn't shared it with already. And I actually quickly fast tracked the sales coordinator within the first 6 to 8 months. We didn't have any fast tracking back then. And, it was, this is part of my story. And I used to say that I was stuck at sales coordinator for 6 years. Now I don't say that I was stuck. I was being prepared. And, so much of how we look at things and so much of how we look at our journey completely is our mindset. And so I literally used to say, yeah, I'm stuck at sales coordinator, or I was stuck at sales coordinator for 6 years. And it was such a defeating feeling. And so when I began to look at, no, I wasn't stuck. I was being prepared for national marketing director. So many people enter into this journey at different places. And you guys, if there's anything I could tell you, that this is your journey. This is not a sprint race. It is awesome to go fast. Sometimes it happens quicker than others. But I tell my team this all the time. The only way to fail is to quit this business. And you just have to keep moving. There's disappointments that will come, and you just have to brush yourself off and move forward. And so I was a sales coordinator preparing for national marketing director for 6 years. And it wasn't until I went away at this time, it was called a changing lifestyle. Some of you may remember this. It's when they really began to talk about the business. When I first got started, you only heard about the product, and you really didn't hear much about the business unless you asked about it. And so I flew to Dallas and heard about this changing lifestyles event. And I realized that it was in those moments of hearing more about the business and more about just how it built something in me about just owning this for me. Like this could be something that could really impact me as a person and my entire family. And it just kind of built this belief in me. It started this belief that needed to grow. That's part of the preparation I was talking about. So sometimes we have to look at our journeys and think, where do we need to grow? Do we need to grow in our belief in ourselves, in our industry, in the business? I don't know where those different weaker links are in our belief system. But for me, I had to definitely believe in myself. And then I had to believe in this business. And I'll never forget, I came back from that trip. Randall was sitting on the back porch, and I had never really owned it. This was just something that I did, I was proud of, but I just never really fully believed that this could be anything bigger than, maybe a sales coordinator, maybe a senior sales coordinator. And so I got back from that trip, and I remember walking out on the back porch, and I put my hand on my hip, and I said this to him. I'm like, I am a business owner of a multi-million-dollar company. And he was like, you are? I said, yes, I am. And I am going to be a national marketing director one day. And so literally almost 2 years to that date, I became national marketing director. And it was so amazing to be able to walk on that stage with my family, my kids that had grown up in this with me, that had seen their mama overcome depression, anxiety, to begin to believe in myself, to believe that there was more, and that God gave me, before I ever became Randall's wife or their mama, special gifts and talents that he wants me to use for his purpose. And oh my gosh, just to be able to experience that with them was unbelievable. And so I'm a national marketing director, and y'all, I tell people all the time that if anybody can do this, I mean, if I can do this business, anybody can do this business. And the thing is, though, that it is such a unique journey for every single person, and there is such a gift in it. So I don't know where you all are in your journeys, but you just need to just don't stop. That's the only way to fail, is to quit. And so now our team is growing, and I've got team in Canada, I've got team all over the country, and it's just so cool to see the unique people that God brings in my life as I step out and kind of live this whole thing out loud. And that's one thing I wanted to kind of end with, is just some top team building business tools that we use. And the one thing that, if you kind of saw a thread, is, and going back to Amy and Scott, is relationships. This business is so much about relationships. We trusted Amy and Scott. We knew them, and they had invested in us. They had conversations with us that weren't about Juice Plus. They had established a relationship with us so that we trusted them. So I knew when I talked to her about Juice Plus, I trusted her. And so one of the things that we really try to do is just live our life out loud on social media. You know, I know that everybody doesn't feel called to just live this, crazy, authentic place, but I feel like that for me personally, it's just been so good to be able to do that on social media, and to really create connections with people. Somebody asked me the other day, I was being interviewed for something else, and they said, why is authenticity so important to you as a leader? And I said, because perfection is on a pedestal. Perfection can't be touched. Authenticity is kind of like the bridge in relationships. People can identify, with you when you can be authentic, and not everything's a highlight reel. And so through that, we build those connections. But I would say that probably one of our biggest tools that we use is three-way connection calls. I do three-way connection calls all the time, and I use Calendly. It's calendly.com, and it's spelled CALLENDLY. And it is a wonderful tool that's connected to your calendar. I already have the times that I'm available on there. So people can just go to my calendar and sign up for a call. My Zoom's on there. And we do so many connection calls because people can see. We do Zooms like this, so people can see. So much about this business is about building those relationships and creating connections. And I think the one thing that I hear from a lot of people on my team, because they feel really awkward at first. If you're not doing them, you've got to get over it. Because I think the one thing that my team will say is that people are able to get on and see that we are not crazy, that we are real people, truly caring about others. And so that is definitely number one tool that we use. We do connection calls with prospective team. We do connection calls with customers, with people that are interested in the product. And then, of course, I just do coaching calls with my team. But that's definitely the number one tool that we use. And then the second thing that we do is, of course, events. You guys are not going to hear anything new. There's not a secret sauce to this business. It's connections, relationships, and events. And we really focus on live events and Facebook events, or virtual events. And our live events, what we've been doing most recently, are very much business focused. We call them sneak peeks, and we try to do them at least once a month. And we meet like in a restaurant or somewhere. Some people still do it in their home. I like to get out of my house because I don't like to clean it before everybody comes. I like to get out. There's so much less pressure. And so literally we are just purposely inviting people to come hear about this mission and come hear about this business opportunity. And it has been incredible. We've really added a lot of new team and gotten people really excited. And it's just ends up being a fun girls' night. And people are excited to bring their friends to it. So that's been a really cool thing. I can give you guys more details. I've done a training on the sneak peek, so I can give you guys more on that. And then just the virtual events. And I think you all do a great job at doing virtual events. And I think what that looks like is just adding value to people. You know, we try to do a very specific focus each month. Last month was children's health. This month is self-care. We're doing one tomorrow night on self-care. And so a lot of times we use those virtual events to, again, connect with people. It's not Juice Plus heavy. It's really just adding value to people's lives, making those connections. And then most of the interaction about, about Juice Plus and about the business are happening on those one-on-one conversations after the events. So I think that's really, really important. But I think if there's anything that I can take away is it doesn't matter what event you do, just make sure that you're adding value. Kind of that whole, it's kind of like that whole servant leadership mentality. You know, when we're adding value to people's life and they are trusting us, and it just deepens our connections and relationships. And I feel like, and I've experienced this, that, it's easy to attract people to our product. It's easy to attract people to our business even, but to keep people in this, for the long haul, to keep people like in this community, it's the relationships that people build, and those are the things that make people stay. So I'm trying to think if I left anything out from my talk. I meant to say this. I wrote this down at the very top of my thing. I am not this expert trainer. I'm not. I'll have people call me to do like trainings at boot camps, and I have done them, but I don't like them. I don't enjoy them. But man, I can sure share my story and encourage you and let you know that there is so much inside of every single one of you. And look at this opportunity as a journey just to discover all those things that you can do and that God can do in you as He just develops all the amazing things in you that He has purpose for. So I think that's all that I have. I'm so happy to be able to share with y'all tonight.
Thank you, Dana, for sharing.
Wow. It was excellent, Dana. So good. We really appreciate you doing this for us. Christy, did you want to chime in?
I just wanted to say I love the line, authenticity is the bridge in relationships. That is beautiful. That I think will stick with me for tonight.
Yeah, and the thing that stuck with me that we'll close out with is that no matter what kind of event we're doing, we're always adding value and we're looking at it with a servant leadership mentality. I just think we want to be a blessing to people, and they can feel that in our spirit. what we say, how we create the event, everything about it. So I just really appreciate you saying that, Dana. That was a blessing to me and a good takeaway for me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so